Be going on the budget workshop January 4th. Pick up where we left off last previous court meeting. I think it's important to share with the court just some of the items that have been discussed in previous years and currently being discussed. Can you pass that? I think I got enough for Roy. Get that to Roy. And Jason. This is the resolution I asked Roy to put together, and I think he did a great job on it for our new roads. And not take a look at it. Don't expect you to have any questions today, but I think when we meet again, we can discuss them a little bit more in detail. We were going to present this to the court, but long-term, our existing roads is where we're going to have not, I wouldn't say our issues, but have dollars attached to it. So the biggest thing, obviously, we all know, if we can improve our roads that are existing and improve our roads that are new, when they come in, that they meet a minimum standard that we agree to, it obviously has an effect on our budget long-term. So when I say existing, it's existing private roads, bringing them into the county maintenance system. We've got a lot of roads out there that are private roads. I know you get asked a lot. I know I get a lot of phone calls since I've been here for the past 5 years of, hey, can we bring this road in? And we look at it, and the amount of money that it's going to take is daunting. But if the longer we don't do anything, or the private citizens don't do anything, the worse the condition of the road that it gets in. So just review this. I think it ties in to the overall budget, long-term plans that we want to look at. So that's why I'm sharing it with you guys today. And
You left somebody out when you told that Roy did a good job putting this together, and I'm not talking about me.
and Nicole.
Let's
Sorry,
say Nicole
Nicole.
comes up here now. Good job, Nicole. And Roy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roy and I should say, worked on it, but then Nicole did a lot of the dirty work for us. So
And, this one's for the new roads, like you said. If this one is good with everybody, then I can work off of this one for existing roads. And
Yeah.
do some of this for existing roads now.
But it says and existing roads, but this is not really talking, I mean, I haven't read it, obviously, but it doesn't really talk about existing, or does
We
it?
talked about doing one.
when I wrote that heading,
It was
I was gonna have, and I
existing roads only, and you threw in new, you changed it or something?
This has gone through a lot of changes. But yeah, when I wrote that heading, it was gonna be new roads, and then I think new roads was gonna be like section A, and then existing roads is gonna be section B, so it's all gonna be part of one resolution. So if you wanna do two separate resolutions, or put them in together, one resolution, it doesn't make any difference
Yeah,
how
I
you do
think
it.
all,
So,
Okay.
The other thing is, 3 years ago, it's been some time ago, we basically, the court took action to have a group come in and review. Perfection Group came in, and they looked at all of our facilities and how much it would cost for energy efficient, and just get them, to where they're actually current. Some of our facilities are not in good shape. and the amount of money it would take, and it includes the jail, to get our facilities in a position where we maintain them, to where it's not, I mean, let's face it, if things aren't maintained, it's an expense to us long-term. I just wanted, this is available, I don't know if we have a digital copy of this, we'll have to look. I think the biggest thing is just the cost, and this was 3 years ago, I believe, $6 million just to go through on the recommendations that they put together on all of our facilities. And so this is available. We'll look to see if there's an actual digital copy so you guys can take a look at it. But this is a project that we had them put together for us. And this is something that had been discussed for actually a couple of years. This is an engineering map that Rivercrest put together for us, but this was something that had been discussed before any of us got here. And this is to get water, this is to get water to the parts of the county that don't have it. Now, we asked the county attorney to reach out to the city of Benton to kind of get feedback from them on the old West Marshall Water District, if they're still going to move forward on that project. And I think the response, Jason, was that the intent is to replace or put in existing kind of a combination of both to that infrastructure, but they are waiting on, they got one piece of the puzzle that they're waiting on. They didn't really allude to the specifics of it, but that's where it's at. And
Did they
that-
discuss any about out toward Hauser Road out that way on Mayfield Highway, what their intention is out there? Because I know we got folks that's out in that area that, of course, are serviced by Benton Water, but they can't get hookup. They've been told for years that there's water pressure issues, but then they run the line down there to the stave mill, and so you got a lot of folks out there waiting, just won't know what's going on out that way.
Yeah, if the way Chad laid this out, and this apparently was put on paper years ago, but this is to the Oak Level Tower. So this is specific to the West Marshall, old West Marshall infrastructure. Lateral lines going out, that's not on here. That's where we were going to step in and help with this part of the county that doesn't have anything out there. And that's,
That's something that is digital as well that you could send? Or do you not, do you think that was?
Chad should have it, and we'll try to get it digital.
Is that the same document that he discussed with us, gosh, 5 months ago or so, 4 or 5, or was it during the discussion on,
Jonathan Creek,
when was that?
This,
I know what you're talking about.
And he
I think that's the
he
same
said that, and
map,
then
yeah.
he said he was gonna
Yeah.
get that to us.
I think
Yeah.
that's the same.
Because it was a cost estimates and everything of what that, at the time anyway, that would cost.
yeah, we had the Jonathan Creek discussions with the
Maybe it was-
bond monies, and then
Yeah.
I'd asked him to get something to get water to the parts of the county that don't have it.
Yeah.
And this is an existing item that they had been working on. And then we met with Jonathan Creek, Justin and I did, to talk about Jonathan Creek servicing part of the area. And it's all line extensions from their infrastructure. The biggest thing with the West Marshall district, which is Benton, it's the old West Marshall, we can't do those lateral lines until that's done. So the folks out in Oak Level, even if we had the monies today to do lateral lines, we can't do it because of the infrastructure that the city of Benton was originally looking at the USDA loan grant. And we don't have a timeline. Do you remember that correspondence, Jason? It basically just said that they're waiting on.
You mean the date of that? When that was received, is that what you're asking?
No, just they didn't give us a ETA as far as when. I think it's 7.5 miles is what they're looking at. Both replace existing and putting in new.
And there was some, I believe that was the same time that they were talking about Indian burial possibly? Wasn't that in there too?
Well, I didn't know how to take that. I
Yeah.
didn't know if it was a literal Indian burial or just an administrative term for administratively something being held up.
Yeah, I mean, there was something about a possible, having to contact Bureau of Indian Affairs, I think, to make sure that there wasn't gonna be any,
On new lines or existing lines?
yeah.
I remember one time down there on Gerald Chambers Farm, they halted something because of that. That's been years ago. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
Well, the Children's Art Center got held up too.
Yeah. Over in the cemetery.
The cost outside of the West Marshall, this map, the cost for line extensions like what you're talking about, just to get lines out into the parts of the county, and it's not getting a line to every doorstep, but it's getting the main lines out to where majority of the population or residents are, is about $10 million. But we'll see. I know he's got a digital copy of this. I don't know how large it is, but I can send that to you all so that you can at least see.
So that and whatever.
This,
I just put this on the drive.
Does it stay? How long does something stay on the drive? Okay. Because I'm not going to print.
yeah.
Can I, but I can, I guess,
And
on there and
this,
save it to my Dropbox. Okay.
this has, you'll see, and we may get with Casey upstairs to see if we can't, this has penciled in, if you will, the new lines that the court funded for Johnson Creek. And the lines that we discussed and funded for Soldier Creek and coming down 58. So that's not going to be on a digital. I can ask Chad to add these in. But it gives you an idea. It has it broken down as far as how many linear feet and then how many residents it would pick up. And it's amazing how expensive.
It's only gonna get more expensive too.
Mm-hmm.
The longer we sit on this.
Yep. But those are just the existing line, or back to the existing roads, you know, there's several, I'm sure you guys see it. You know, if we can grow our community, obviously that has an economic impact to our budget. Good roads, I don't know how many subdivisions that I've gone out to where there's people asking for help, and it seems like it's the same story. They didn't realize that they thought it was a county road when actually it's a private road, and the funds just aren't there, and they just become dilapidated, you know, old road beds that I'm sure you guys see it in the real estate world, where properties that could be very valuable because of the location, the infrastructure is just not there.
And there's no ordinance out there that currently, if someone is going to put in a subdivision, are they required at all to come to the county to, for anything, I guess?
The only thing is that resolution to
And they
bring
obviously
bring
have
a
to-
road into the county maintenance system.
Right.
Well, there is a statute that kind of says that they're like somebody who's going to build a subdivision and have roads has to contact the superintendent, the road superintendent.
Oh, so there is a statute, but
Yeah.
that's obviously not been addressed over the past. That statute's been in place for a long time, I assume. But I mean, it
But
was
does
there.
it give him
once
any
a-
legs to stand on? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
So we tie in an ordinance to give him legs to stand on to where it meets our minimum requirements, or it meets our requirements for a road, and then they build it, and then they bring it into the county maintenance system. We maintain it. 'Cause-
That's what the purpose of this is.
Yeah.
So it goes to, it's not like it would not go through the inspection office. It would go
He's the inspector.
directly to him.
Yeah. So if it says, well, the amount of base, whatever the amount of base is, he's going to inspect it. And if the contractor,
Needs to be as it's being built.
yeah.
So is this, and I haven't read this obviously, is this going to mandate the developer make the road to county specs?
If they wanted a county road, they will.
If they wanted a county road?
Yep.
But that's not going to be a requirement for them to do.
Do we have any leg to say if you're going to make a subdivision, it has to be built to our specifications? I think Ohio County,
Yeah, we could do that.
yeah, that would be the best way to do it, is if you're a contractor and you're going to build a subdivision, you have to build it to our minimum standards, or our standards. And then it is immediately, we take it in as a county road system. Because here's what happens. They go out and they develop, you guys see this, they go out and they develop these subdivisions, people buy the properties, and then years down the road, when the road starts to deteriorate because it doesn't have the proper base, or the ditching or whatever, and then the residents want to bring it into the county maintenance system, and they find out the expense that our current resolution states that they have to pay to bring it in. And it causes a problem for us, and it causes a problem for them. I think it was Ohio County back, gosh, 15 or 16, when we were looking at Cary Landing. Ohio County, I think it's Ohio County, they had an ordinance where they just said, if you're going to build a subdivision, build it to our specs. Roy would go out and inspect it to make sure it's being built to our specs, and as soon as they're done, we take it in as our county road. But, I mean, that's the intent. Obviously, we got to have more discussions on that, because it does have more so the existing roads that are out there, and there's a bunch of people that want their roads brought into the county maintenance system.
And
Yeah, 'cause
if that takes place and there's a massive project going on, and it takes Roy away from other stuff, that he has to go out there and supervise this for 2 or 3 weeks, or longer, then there's a statute that allows compensation for his time.
For his time, yeah.
Because I certainly don't want to see us get into a county-wide planning and zoning, but there needs to be some type of, common ground there, some kind of, or not common ground, but
At least something that a developer would have to sign stating they are or are not doing it to the county specs, and possibly, I don't know that this could be done if they sign they are not. Could that be something put in the deeds, just for more notification to a buyer? I mean, if somebody's buying and they've got a realtor that hasn't let them know that it's a private road, shame on them, but there are people that, for sale by owners and all that, and they see a paved road and they don't have a clue what the blue sign is. So, I mean, I can see that, but also, I'm not sure I want to start regulating what somebody can do if they're wanting to develop a subdivision either.
Yeah, it just it needs to be clear to, because there are folks, I mean, it's more existing than, because I can't, well, I say I can't remember the last time, but never mind, because Murray Riley and them was the last one, obviously, but they got us involved. I can't remember what would be the last one that didn't get us involved, but, you know, that is at least the positive point about having planning and zoning in the cities, is they're able to address that on the front end.
Well, and I think
But
this is specific to our roads. I can tell you the number one complaint that I get is roads. And almost every time it's a private road that they thought was a county road.
I
I know
agree
you
with
know, I know you know
yeah,
that.
I haven't.
And sitting here, we would think that everybody would read their deed and
Don't.
check their dot their I's, but at the end of the day, you got folks that live on a private road, and those roads are getting worse because nobody's maintaining them. And just like Cary Landing, we had a flood, and basically it cut off access, emergency access. And we had to come in and temporarily restore access. And that's a part of our county that can be, at one time, it was really nice. And it's just, over the years, because of no maintenance on it, it became, well, it's impassable, and I don't know how much longer. Folks have moved out, and, you know, when we look at how can we grow our community and how can we get revenue, getting good roads in our county is one of them.
I realize you just got it thrown on your lap now,
Yeah.
but if you'll read it, I think it answers a lot of your questions.
Okay.
Yeah, this is, and again, we don't have to spend all day on this, but this was a copy for y'all to look at.
Okay.
The biggest thing is that you're going to find existing roads, and obviously the existing roads were at some time a subdivision that if it was done properly to our standards and brought into the county maintenance system, in theory, those roads wouldn't be having the problems that they're having today. But those are just a few of the things that, you know, we're looking at. And as far as what we're going to make a priority, you know, all of these decisions have a dollar attached to it. And I think we need to come up with a plan on what we're going to make a priority and how we're going to fund it and how we're going to implement moving forward. It's not going to be something that's done in one fiscal year. It's going to take several fiscal years. And then once we put that plan in place, we stick to it. Anything that, when we passed out the last meeting, as far as where we're at with the budget, is there any questions on what's affecting our budget? We talked about the retirement. We've had discussions as far as subsidies. We are heavily dependent on occupational tax.
Yes, more a question, just logistically, of course, I don't remember when we started, but it was obviously after March because we started having our true budget workshops where we had, you guys had already met with department heads and then had a proposed budget. And I'm assuming that was probably 1st of March or middle March, maybe, you think? Or was it
I feel
on
like we started meeting with
end of
department
March?
heads maybe in February even.
Yeah, we.
Yeah, yours were, and then
Zoom
ours,
meetings.
Zoom, started
Yeah,
Zoom, so it had to be
in
after
Yeah,
March. Yeah. So are you planning on again,
yeah.
you think February is gonna be
Oh, yeah.
the department heads?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, I mean, this obviously gives us more than we've had, at least, to be able to see where we are right now, but without having each individual breakdown of what you're thinking for each department.
Well, a good measuring stick would be to, if you remember, the first budget was a very conservative budget, and we all know the occupational tax account we're heavily dependent on that to subsidize from. And we started out at 4.2 million on the receipts for the OTA. And, we increased that to 4.7. So this, it's just an idea of what we have to work with as far as monies available out of the OTA. I mean, that's really where we subsidize from.
Yeah, but I guess, I know maybe I'm a broken record, because I feel like I say it. But I do think the March timeframe, at least after the department head meetings individually, that's enough time too to still have some more, I know I get mine done quick. I don't know that everybody else does net, that quick, but we'll at least start getting some net between now and the end of February, right? Not as
Probably.
much.
I think we see the bulk of the net that's going to come in without an extension around mid to end March and the beginning of April.
Yeah, okay.
And then
Well, do
anything
you-
that's beyond that, they get up until August.
Are they
or
discussing
October
that?
15th.
Again, that's a state, is that a state or fed?
The federal government did it this year.
Right.
They pushed it. So I haven't read anything about that yet.
I've not either.
But they made the decision kind of at the last minute last year too, which, I guess everything didn't really go down until March anyway, a month before the due date, but I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything about it yet. I haven't gotten any information from it yet.
Okay.
My assumption is that they will try to keep it on track just because
I would think
we're kind of
so.
a year in now, and so
Yeah.
hopefully we're kind of settled a little bit into this new normal. And that they won't
And-
extend it, but maybe they will.
And on a state level, this would not normally be a budget year, but they only did a annual. So they are going to have to address the budget, and it's still going to be a short session. And so, which I hate it for them, but for us, at least we're going to know more in that same time frame what they're thinking on a budget, assuming that they can pass a budget in a short session. I mean, it's probably never been done before. So
Not
it'll-
sure that that they're gonna have time to do anything else but do a budget.
if they're gonna do it in a short session, yeah. Get 30 days to, right, 30 working days to. And it starts February the 1st, around that, something like that, end of January. Session,
They start tomorrow.
well, but they don't, their days don't, they're in committee meetings and stuff, but the days are just session days, right? Those session days, don't they go for a couple of weeks and then leave and then come back and start the session, right?
I thought they were starting.
I thought it started in January and they had 30 days.
I don't know, but, well, it's short. Regardless, it'll be sometime in March, you would assume that they will have a budget, which will help us out too. But I don't know. I'd have to-
Help us out, help us know.
Help us know, yes. I didn't,
I ain't gonna be sending no
I knew
money.
that you.
yeah. Is this on? Yes. Help us make the decisions that we need to make, at least. More accurately. So that answers mine.
What I've asked Erica to do, and we'll get more in depth on it for the court, is to keep you guys up to date on where we are currently and what we already know that's going to hit our budget, and kind of give you a picture of what to expect as we watch and see. I think the documents that we presented showed just a 6-month percentage as far as what we've received. Just kind of keep everybody where they're at. But I think the biggest gorilla in the room is the jail. Because we're going to have to, I think Roger has April, it's deadline, so, you know, that's something that we definitely have to discuss with him and his current budget.
As a group or individually?
Either. It don't matter.
I mean, I think
I think it's a
it'd be
separate-
best for y'all, yeah, to meet with them first and,
We already have.
We already
Oh.
have.
We already have.
okay. I just
Yeah.
thought last time, or last Wednesday.
I think it's probably
Maybe
been
it
like a
was-
month since we first met with him about noticing what his
Okay, I didn't.
receipts were doing.
The
I
first
didn't catch it.
quarter, we saw, Erica saw, I think it was like 197,000 short, so we sat down with him just to make sure he was tracking it. And, you know, if it continued that way, that, you know, having a plan in place to execute.
So what was the April date that you just mentioned? What was
He has to have
his budget? Yeah, okay.
So this is just to let you know, kind of giving you a bigger picture, and how the budget, the retirement, we knew it was going to be affected. The max amount annually was 12%. This year it was 7. So we just used 12 as a base. But I think the total 48% was, at that time, it was over $800,000 that we were going to have to come up. Those are dollars that we have to come up with. We talked about ALC, percent change. That's looking a couple budgets down the road, but when that hits, it's going to hit. So our decisions that we make today, we have to take that into account. What we'll do is see if I can't get, she's already put the digital copy of this on there for you. I'll get with Rivercrest and see if he can update this. And you get a hard copy, we'll give you a digital copy of the road resolution. And then I've asked Erica to put some stuff together to kind of show you a little bit more in detail. I just want you guys to keep in mind, all the agencies, they committed in this current budget that we're in, all but one, but everybody has committed in reducing their budget to some degree. And, that's going to be something that we're going to have to look at as well. I think they've done a very good job of operating with a reduced budget, but I don't think that's a long-term plan. We have to give relief somewhere in our OTA for some of these projects that we have known. We didn't even get into the roof on this building, but it's actually in here. So I think it's best to have the bigger picture with all the information at your disposal so that you can use that when we make decisions moving forward. Is there any other things that you would like to see from the treasurer's office?
Are we thinking we're going to have something that afternoon prior to the 11th? Is that meeting, we had discussed? No, you remember?
Yeah, we've got the meeting with, for the Southwest One on the 11th.
What is that? I don't even know what today is.
It's next Monday.
Week from today.
Yeah. So that's at 4 PM.
Is that enough time to get what y'all have discussed as far as more detail information? Or what do you think?
Yes, hopefully. I think so, yes. If I commit most of my time to this, yes.
And we can get it to you.
Or, listen, it can be, I'm just,
We've got to the 15th for both fee offices.
yeah,
So we'll try to get,
that's, that Friday.
yeah. That's a week and 3 days. So you're back, well, you can do the day of, but we've got a week and 4 days. So, yeah, we'll try to get as much information to you. I'm trying to look. Is there any dates in between that may be a conflict for anybody?
Between the 11th and the 15th?
14th would be better for me if at all possible.
Yeah, 14th means I can't do 12th or 13th.
Okay.
I'm sure the 14th is good with me.
And did we set something for the 11th?
No,
We've already got the.
we've got 4 o'clock.
The community meeting at 4.
At USS, right?
Yes. Okay. So do we want to do the 14th?
Works for me.
What time? Morning or afternoon?
Morning.
Morning.
That work for you, Bubba?
Yes.
6 a.m. work for
No.
Hey, I'll do 6 o'clock.
I'm fine with 6.
Collins, he hasn't even rolled over.
No, I'm still,
That's running
Denise
time.
is
still
looking
doing
at
my-
us,
my,
what, 9?
I don't know what I'm doing.
9 o'clock works good.
9 o'clock.
Time for you, Sleeping Beauty.
gonna get these. What do I call these? Well.
All right. We'll try to get some more information to kind of, hopefully by then we can have some,
Just to clarify, what you guys are kind of wanting to see is a historical trend on occupational tax and what our quarters are looking like. And my COVID quarters is what I call them, what's happened since COVID has started.
Yeah.
Kind of how that compares to previous years.
You had mentioned that you thought it would be tough to break out or to try to figure out the.
Time consuming, not necessarily tough, just time consuming.
But is that possible between now and the 14th?
Hopefully, yes. I think so, yes.
I mean, it'd be
As long as
helpful.
nothing else drops on my desk.
It'd be
yes.
helpful, but that's not the historical stuff would be the first thing, but then if you could do that, that would be great. But I do realize that's a
Yes,
little
I
bit
will.
more of a feat.
I will try my best.
Okay.
And as I get that done, I'll go ahead and just send it out to you all, and that way you'll have a little more time to review it before the meeting.
Okay.
Hopefully, it won't take me till the day of, but you never know. It
Yeah.
could.
Okay. Oh, that's good with me.
all right,
Okay.
sounds good.
Adjourn.